Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon and welcome. Thank you all for coming out on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And it's such a pleasure to be with all of you here, among friends, and together as united Conservatives. To be together for a very important time in our party as we get ready for the next election in 2023. I know many of you here today, in fact, probably most of you. But for those who don't know me, I am Sonia Savage, and I'm the MLA for Calgary Northwest. Th 359 days. That's how many days until May 29th of 2023, the next time we go to the polls in this province. And it's incredibly important on that day that this party has a leader on the ballot who brings us together. Someone who Albertans can trust to lead a team that will ensure that Alberta is strong, prosperous, and free. Someone who isn't into political games, but instead can keep us on track for success and growth. Someone who brings us together and ensures that our future is secure and that our voices are heard. Someone that's not in the race for themselves, but rather for future generations. Someone that will ensure that Alberta remains the best place to live, to work, to raise a family, start a business, and to call home. After a career in the private sector, both Travis and I were elected at the same time. Like him, I'm not a career politician, and I've had the pleasure to work alongside Travis every day for the last 3 years. And I can tell you for sure that Travis remembers where he comes from. He's humble, he's genuine, and he always advocates tirelessly, relentlessly for his constituents and for all Albertans. Like me, Travis has lived in Alberta all of his life. He knows and understands this province, from north to south, from east to west, from urban to rural. He knows the importance of our members and their views, and he listens, and every decision he makes and he will make is for the benefit of Albertans. Travis loves Alberta and loves its people. That's why I'm proud, ladies and gentlemen, to wholeheartedly support him. I know that many of my caucus colleagues, many of whom are here today, support him for those exact same reasons. Because we need stable, responsible leadership for our party and for our province. Someone who cares, someone who listens, who puts others first for the good of ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great pleasure to introduce my colleague and my friend, the next leader of the United Conservative Party and the next Premier of this province, Travis Toews.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is overwhelming. It truly is. Thank you for coming out today on a Saturday in June in Alberta. You give up a lot when you give up a nice Saturday in June in Alberta. So thank you for coming out. I'm humbled by your support and your show of support today. I truly am. I want to take a moment this afternoon, to introduce the co-chairs of my leadership campaign, Chris Workington and Minister Sonia Savage. Chris and Sonia, I believe, truly embody a key message of this campaign, and that's unity within diversity. They're deeply committed to the fundamental ideals of the Conservative movement, both provincially and federally, but are very diverse in terms of experience. Chris has been my MP in Northern Alberta for 16 years, and the fact that he's still so widely respected really speaks to his integrity during so many years of public service. Chris, thank you for that. He has been a mentor of mine. He's been one that has gone before, even in his youth. And he brings a wealth of political experience and true wisdom to the team. Now, I've had the incredible privilege of working with Sonia, my fellow MLA from Calgary Northwest and fellow cabinet minister for the last 3 years. 3 years. Like myself, like me, Sonia spent her career in the private sector, only stepping into public service in 2019. And Sonia brings just real deep industry credibility to this role, along with professional expertise, of course, in law, energy, and environmental regulation, which we all know. Again, Sonia and Chris, can you stand up? We just want to acknowledge. Chris and Sonia represent the balance between the political expertise and private sector experience that's needed to lead our Big Tent Conservative movement ahead as a diverse but cohesive force in Alberta's political landscape. And I want to thank them both again for their support and for their guidance. Thank you so much. My wife Kim and I are lifelong Albertans, and for us, our 3 children, and yes, 11 grandchildren. Alberta is a place that we are proud to call home. We've had incredible opportunities to pursue careers, business interests, and raise a family in a province of possibility and prosperity. A place where the principles of freedom and self-determination are held in high regard. Until 2019, my career had been spent entirely in the private sector. I'm a CPA by profession and spent 12 years in a public accounting practice. And since then, Kim and I have grown and managed a family cattle ranching business and an environmental services company in the Grand Prairie region. I've served on a number of provincial and national industry boards, including the president of the Canadian Cattlemen's Association, but without any aspiration of public life. 4 years ago, that changed. Deeply concerned with the direction of the province, like so many in this room, including one of my co-chairs, I stepped up and sought public office to help ensure the next generation of Albertans would have the opportunities our generation was afforded by this great province of Alberta. And it was a privilege to form government the last election, with the additional honor for me personally to serve as Alberta's Minister of Finance and President of the Treasury Board. Since 2019, we've implemented an ambitious platform of reform, including positioning Alberta's economy for exceptional growth, diversification, and job creation, and putting the province on a sustainable fiscal trajectory. The results of our economic reforms are self-evident. Most banks are predicting that Alberta will lead the nation in economic growth this year and next. Our unemployment rate has dropped to its lowest level since 2015, and for the first time in over a decade, we presented a balanced budget. Now, while we've made tangible progress on a number of fronts, The pandemic has been a challenging and troublesome time. Many Albertans experience loss, and for some, the feelings of grief and frustration linger. Division has crept into our communities, our businesses, and even our families. There's not been a time in this generation when healing and reunification have been so necessary, not only across our society, but within the conservative movement of Alberta as well. 5 years ago, Alberta's grassroots movement united under one banner, focusing on the principles that we hold in common: responsible fiscal management, individual freedom, and limited government. Friends, our great conservative movement must once again focus on the values that unite us instead of the issues that divide. Now, I will say the passionately held principles of conservatives have sometimes made peaceful coexistence within a large, diverse party stretching and occasionally fractious. But while that significant diversity in the party comes with unique challenges, it's also what makes us fit to govern. We must lead with strength and humility and return to the values that define us. We must take time to listen to our members, to all Albertans, and we must learn from our missteps. There are some who believe they no longer have a place under the canopy of the Alberta conservative movement, feeling wrongly characterized and disregarded. To those who feel disenfranchised, I want to extend a call home. We're better together, stronger in diversity and in our unity. Since forming government 3 years ago, we've made great progress, even as we faced seemingly overwhelming challenges of the pandemic and the largest unprecedented collapse in energy prices in modern history. We've taken a province that was on a downward economic and fiscal spiral, and by holding fast to our principles, we put this province on a new path. We balanced the budget and put Alberta on a sustainable fiscal trajectory of growth, opportunity, and hope. We will no longer spend more than we make. We will no longer burden future generations with a debt they did not incur. And we will ensure that our ability to protect the most vulnerable, the least of these, remains for the long term. But there's much left to do. We cannot see the gains we've made erased either through division or lack of commitment to the ideals that have brought us this far. We dare not shrink back. My invitation to all conservative-minded Albertans is this: let us seize this moment, this opportunity, to step into the next chapter in our history united, laying aside our differences to focus on our shared vision, a hopeful future for our children and grandchildren on the foundation of a free and prosperous Alberta. Thank you, and God bless Alberta. Now, I've had the honor, I've had the incredible honor and privilege of working with a tremendous group of MLAs. Already back in 2018, we started to get together to prepare for the next election. And as I started to understand their story overlapped with mine. So many of us stepped up, not because we had aspired to political life, but because we were concerned with the future of this province. We were concerned that the next generation may not have the opportunities that ours had been afforded. And so today, I'm humbled to have so many of my fellow MLAs and colleagues here today to support me in this leadership bid. And I would want to call all of those MLAs who've endorsed my leadership. I would humbly ask that you join me to the front. I believe they want a picture today.